Hello and welcome to Around the Diamond, your tri-state baseball show on MSGVarsity.com. This is the Long Island edition where now we sit at the end of May and we look back, we realize at the beginning of April, we may not have known what we were talking about when it came to Long Island baseball. It's been a wild postseason here out on the island and so much to talk about in today's show. We're going to talk about the Catholic League Championship. We crowned some champions in Suffolk, one in Nassau, and we're going to get ready for the LICs next week as we move our way towards the Public State Championship in Long Island. As always, we'll be well represented up in Binghamton. Let's start the show off with, I don't know if we can say this is the biggest surprise because technically we have a two-time champion, but definitely the one that caught us a little bit off guard. I think caught maybe most of Long Island off guard, at least in the past week, was St. John the Baptist. Now you look back in the regular season in the Catholic League and look like it was going to be Chaminade and St. Dom's all the way. St. John the Baptist lost 5 of the 6 meetings against them. They kind of turned the page, wiped the slate clean in the playoffs, and didn't lose again. Swept St. Anthony's, then they swept St. Dom's, got themselves into the championship, and then they knocked off Chaminade in Game 1, and that's when things got a little crazy for them. Nolan Lorenzo with a masterful effort in Game 1. Now you're here watching Game 2. Dylan Boyle, RBI triple. After finding out a couple days earlier that Marianne Cummings, his grandmother, passed away from colon cancer, got them on the board early, a 2-0 lead. Patrick LaGravenese took over the game from there. 2-run double in the second inning. LaGravenese came with 2 outs in the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Helped close the game out. LaGravenese, as we said, just kind of the hero of this one. And St. John the Baptist goes back-to-back winning Nassau, Suffolk Catholic League championships. First team to do it is Holy Trinity in 97, 98. Obviously a long time ago because that was when I was back in high school. And St. John the Baptist actually did it in 81, 82, just after I was born. So congratulations to St. John the Baptist. Can't say they came from nowhere to win a championship. A lot of people counted them out, and that's exactly what Patrick LaGravenese talked about afterwards.
All being young, being like the underdog of everyone. Like everyone thinks that we're not gonna be on top, and like doing this, everyone makes everyone work harder, and practices longer. Everyone's doing 100%, and like to beat them is just phenomenal.
Beating a team that has the Catholic CHSA Player of the Year in Luke Zicola. But Chaminade, you felt they knocked off St. Dom's the way they did late in the season, took 2 out of 3, and St. Dom's their first loss of the season to set up for Chaminade to make their run to the championship, and then something crazy, not as crazy, but a little unexpected happened over Memorial Day weekend. And St. John the Baptist swept Chaminade in the Catholic Championship. So now we move on to the Suffolk region, and West Islip has, you could say Cinderella teams, and West Islip is kind of becoming one of those teams. They're in the championship after winning their semifinal game, knocking off Hills West last Wednesday, beating Hills West 2-1 behind a phenomenal start from James Corey. Corey, the sophomore right-hander, pitched a 3-hitter with 6 strikeouts. He's 7-0 on the year. And now it sets up really well for West Islip to have a whole week off. Nick Arnold going to go on full week rest. And they're going to have obviously Corey either in relief or if they lose to Hills West, they got to beat them in the second round. The double elimination. So West Islip is the top team in the winner's bracket. Hills West has now beat them twice. Hills West got to the championship. They lost to West Islip last week. They came back this week and got another phenomenal start from Aaron Glickstein. He remains undefeated. 6 strikeouts, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. They beat Comac in the consolation bracket finals, so now they move back into the championship round. They won 7-4 on Tuesday. So Hills West now has to beat West Islip, as I've alluded to, stuttered through. They got to beat them twice to win a Suffolk Class AA championship. Hills West has been a team that showed tremendous resiliency all year long. I would not be shocked if they put a scare into West Islip, although it seems like West Islip's just playing too well right now. In Class A, we had the best series. I think when you look back on the regular season and really maybe all of Long Island baseball, the best series all year was when Bayport Blue Point and Shoreham-Wading River played their 3-game regular season series. All 3 games in the regular season went to extra innings. I believe it ended up to 28 total innings of baseball. They met last week in the Suffolk Class A championship game, in really the first game that sent Bayport into the finals. Bayport won that game, sending Shoreham to the consolation bracket. Shoreham had to knock off Harbor Fields to get back into the championship bracket. They had to beat them twice. Bayport took all the mystery out of that one. Beat them 3 times. They met 3 times in the regular season. They beat them twice now in the postseason. Knocked them off 6-1 last week in the winner's bracket. They met on Tuesday. Jack Pico's the big blow right there. A 2-run homer in the 5th inning. Dylan Rooney, an RBI. PJ Weeks, 5-hit shutout allowed 5 runs in the start last week against Shoreham. Only 3 runners went into scoring position in the championship game on Tuesday. Another little dog pile there on the mound for Bayport Blue Point. They go back to back. They repeat as Suffolk County champions. They're going to move on to June 7th for the LIC at Dowling. We spoke to Bayport about going back to back in Suffolk.
Well, it's just pitching with a lead, get more confidence. It's a lot easier knowing that you don't have to be perfect and you can loosen up and just throw strikes. We weren't successful last time, but we came back and we needed the win. Otherwise we would have been back at Shoreham, and it was great. It was great going into the LIC now. We have a lot of momentum and we just got to keep rolling.
The Class B field in Suffolk really set up for Manitouk. They took 2 out of 3 from Center Moriches in the regular season. They met in the championship this past week. And in game 1, you had Manitouk went into the 7th inning of that game down 4-0. Needed 5-run rally to come back and stun Center Moriches. And then Center Moriches took game 2, so that set up a championship matchup in game 3 in the Class B Suffolk County Finals. And Manitouk took all the mystery out of this one. They won this one 1-0 on a outstanding performance from Marco Paravalaris. He delivered after, he scored the winning run in that Game 1 victory, that 5-4 thriller, all on his shoulders in this one, and the junior pitcher turned into performance of the year. Scored the winning run, as I said, in the Game 1, pitched a 4-hitter in a 1-0 victory as Manitouk wins the Suffolk County Class B Championship. The lone run in this game scored when Ian Nish scored on Brian Palin's RBI grounder in the 4th inning, so just a well-pitched game on both sides. But Paravalaris, the hero yet again, and we hear from him now.
We had our backs against the wall, and we had to make sure that we had to come out with a win. We've been training all year for this, and we needed to win this. This is what we've been working for all year in the 20-degree weather. Everything we've been working for, it's time it came through.
So congratulations to Manitouk. They move on to the LIC as well. So who are they going to face? And that was decided in the Nassau County Class B Championship, and that was played this past week with Whitley knocking off Oyster Bay in Game 1 and taking all the mystery out. They win the Class B Championship this past week. They kind of blew past Oyster Bay in the 2 games. One game won 17-5 on Tuesday. Mike Carney got the win on the mound. He also went 4 for 5 with a double and an RBI in that game. Justin Borzik, 5 hits in that game, 3 RBIs. That was in Game 1. Here you see Game 2 highlights, and it was more the same. Matt Hoff pitched a 2-hitter. Billy McLean hit a grand slam for a 13-0 win for Wheatley. They blow by Oyster Bay to win the Nassau Class B Championship. So they finished they're 17-5. They don't finish their season. They're going to face Manitouk for the LIC Championship on June 6th, and the winner going on to the state semifinals. He's going into the state quarterfinals. They're going to play the Hudson Valley team for the right to go up to Binghamton. That game is on June 7th. Binghamton on June 14th. The semifinals, finals, all one day, upstate in just lovely, gorgeous, beautiful Binghamton. And now we look at the Class A field, a game you can watch this full game, the championship game, later in the week on MSGVarsity.com. We'll get to that in a second. Division, though, they earned their spot in the Nassau Class A Championship. They kept on rolling. They swept Garden City in the first round, and they had no issues with Seaford in the semifinals. Anthony Papa got the win in the first game, which Division won 7-4. Then James Varela continued the outstanding postseason. A sac fly in the 4th broke a 2-2 tie. What a catch there in the outfield for Division. Mike Martinez, 3 hits and an RBI. Chris Riley got the win on the mound in Game 2. And Division moves on to the championship game. And their opponent, we're going to find that out here in a second. I've lost my sheet. North Shore is the team they're going to face in the LIC, and that game is going to be, they start on Wednesday for game 1 of the best of 3 series, and you can watch Game 2 live on MSGVarsity.com, and you can watch Game 2, as you said, Division taking on North Shore. Division ranked in the Tri-State poll at MSGVarsity.com. Game 2, they're going to look to, assuming they win Game 1, whoever wins Game 1 might try and close it out in Game 2. You can watch online, MSGVarsity.com, and then on replay on channel 614. That game is Thursday, tomorrow, 4 p.m. online on MSG Varsity. The #1 team in the Tri-State when the preseason started was Seton Hall Prep. We talked it over. We felt that they were the team that was best suited to take that #1 spot, and they carried it through the entire regular season, even when they lost 2 games in the regular season, never lost that number 1 spot. Well, they're about to lose the number 1 spot when they lost on Tuesday to Don Bosco. Who's going to be our number 1 team in the Tri-State poll? Where is Seton Hall Prep going to fall to? You're about to find out. We're going to dive into the poll, starting with our number 20 team. And we have a new entry, a bunch of new entries into the poll this week. I feel like I say it every week. Here is St. Mary's of Rutherford. They're in the North B semis on Friday, taking on Queen of Peace, looking to win a non-public championship in B. The number 19 team is the number 1 seed in the Catholic school playoffs in the Brooklyn Queens City tournament, that being St. Joe's by the Sea, 15-3 league record. Number 18 back in the poll after falling out, and that is your 2-time Section 1 Class AA champion Arlington. Gonna have it all on the line this week as they take on Ketchum in the semifinals on Wednesday, looking to get back to win a 3rd championship on Saturday night. Our number 17 team is Hills West. Now, Hills West, we've mentioned them being a resilient team. They're going to have to be resilient. They got to beat West Islip 2 times to win a Suffolk Class AA championship. That tournament starts this week. And our number 16 team is in Class A in Nassau, that being Division High School, 22-2, inching closer to a Nassau Class A title, looking to get back to the LICs. Now we go on to the number 15 team, and we'll stick in New Jersey, and that is Hunterdon Central, 21-4 record. They're still in the state tournament. Number 14, they lost this past week. They were single digits last week, dropping 10 spots. They're being Chaminade after getting swept by St. John the Baptist, and that is who our number 13 team is in our poll, St. John the Baptist. Entering the poll, jumping into that number 13 spot, 18-6 on the year. Number 12 is St. Peter's Prep out of New Jersey, 13-5. They've really danced all around the poll. They were single digits, went to 18 last week, jumping back up to number 12. And number 11 is West Islip from Long Island, looking to win one of the next 2 games to win a Suffolk Class AA title. Now, we had this discussion in the office this morning, me and our producer from Long Island, Eddie Margulies, about who the number 1 team should be. Should it be West Islip? Should it be St. John the Baptist? I went with West Islip. He said St. John the Baptist because West Islip hasn't won anything yet. It's going to be very interesting to see how the next week plays out, to see who our number 1 team in Long Island is going to be. Now we move on to the top 10, our New Jersey-dominated top 10 poll, and we'll start with the team from New Jersey, that being Marist. They're 22-6. Number 9, R.C. Ketchum fell out of the top 10 last week. They are now back in to the number 9 spot, 2 wins away from winning a Section 1 Class AA title. Very tough road ahead with Arlington on Wednesday, and then either Foxland or Suffern in the final. Our number 8 team is Fairfield Prep as they get ready to make a run at a Class LL state title in Connecticut. Our number 7 team, and here is where the number 1 team falls. They fall 6 spots. Seton Hall Prep out of New Jersey, 25-3. Their season is done. It's hard. You could really make a case they still are. If Don Bosco doesn't win the state title, they are the best team, but they weren't the best team on Tuesday. They lost Don Bosco, and they are now out of the number 1 spot. And our number 6 team is Westfield from New Jersey, 20-3, moving up 6 spots from last week. Now our top 5, Bergen Catholic is our number 5 team. They dropped 2 spots. They are 20-4 overall. They have another crack at Don Bosco in the non-public semifinals on Friday. Our number 4 team is your New York State Independent School Champions, moving up 1 spot, that being Poly Prep, 22-3. The future is bright for the 4-time defending champions with Nick Storrs, the freshman, getting the win on the mound, hitting a homer in the win over Rye Country Day. Our number 3 team is St. Joe's Regional at 22-5. They drop a spot from last week, falling in the Bergen County Finals to Don Bosco. Number 2 team is Roxbury from New Jersey. Really, I mean, again, you take away those 2 losses in between the county tournament and the state tournament, and they are as hot as any team in the state of New Jersey, 17-8. And I think I've mentioned this team a few times in our poll. The new number 1 is Don Bosco, unranked, I think 2 weeks ago. They jumped in last week. 3 weeks ago unranked, jumped in late in the poll last week. Number 10 this past week, and now here they are, the number 1 team. They're playing the best baseball, and as Greg Lerner and I talked about in the Jersey show, they are just maybe the most complete team in the state of New Jersey. They have to win 2 more games to win a non-public championship, and they seem to be having things going in the right direction. They can definitely do that. I want to thank the guys in the control room for everything they do, Dan Exter and Eddie Margulies for the production, Chris Karen as well. And I'll see you next week on Around the Diamond. We'll be crowning section champions in Section 1 and Section 9, Long Island champions, New Jersey section champions, and then we're going to get ready for the state tournaments in Connecticut and New York. So thanks for watching. I'm Kevin Devaney Jr., and we'll see you next week.